Señora Vlora Çitaku.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mr. President, honorable members of the Security Council, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I'm honored to be here with you today. And it is precisely because I truly respect and value this honorable chamber that I cannot quite comprehend why it is that we are actually here today. Kosovo is certainly not a novelty topic for the chamber. For many people around the world, it was the war of the late 90s that put Kosovo on the map. However, the war itself was not an isolated formative experience for my people. This war was predicated by years of oppression, segregation, and exploitation. Years when we were denied our most fundamental rights. No right to read and write our own language in schools, or to sing songs on our streets. Years of being silenced by the deafening noise of Serbian guns. Years of tremendous suffering that only came to an end when your predecessors, sitting around this very table 2 decades ago, gave voice to me and my people. As we mark the 20th anniversary of the liberation of Kosovo, we also celebrate the role of the United Nations in Kosovo. When 1 million refugees were returning back to their homes, the UN agencies were there in Kosovo, waiting for them, readily offering their support. Our country has risen from the ashes of war, and it was the UN administration that lifted us up. Throughout the many years of UN administration in Kosovo, this chamber has provided guidance and facilitated a healthy debate about Kosovo and its future. It was precisely the UN Special Envoy, Marty Ahtisaari, that recommended independence as the final solution for Kosovo. And it was upon Serbia's request that the International Court of Justice ruled clearly, without any ambiguity, that Kosovo was within its rights when it declared independence, and that it did not break nor violate any international law. I don't have to remind you that the ruling of the court was accepted by the UN General Assembly, recommending the launch of a dialogue for the normalization of relations between Kosovo and Serbia. Ladies and gentlemen, with these facts in mind, I address you with absolute candor and correctness that this forum implies in saying that I can seriously not understand why on earth we are here today for the 3rd time in 4 months talking about Kosovo. It is unbelievable that this council has convened more sessions to talk about Kosovo than it has for Syria, Yemen, or Venezuela. There are real problems out there, real challenges that require your valuable time and attention, real people who need your help, as we in Kosovo once did. It is unacceptable that this chamber is being turned into a theater by our northern neighbor. That this esteemed forum became a stage for Serbia to tell its fairy tales to the world, fictional stories that they don't even believe for themselves. It is shameful yet again that this chamber is being misused purely for domestic consumption. UNMIK has no role in Kosovo and has no mandate to exercise. These sessions have lost their purpose. In fact, the charade that is being put on here is yet more proof that Serbia is not genuine in its articulated intent to engage in dialogue with Kosovo about the normalization of relations between our two countries. The dialogue between Kosovo and Serbia was not, is not, and will never be about Kosovo's right to exist as a free nation under the sun. Let us not distort the facts here. 11 years ago, this month, a new young republic was born in Europe. And Kosovo will not, never, not today, not tomorrow, we will never negotiate our statehood and our independence. We want and we are prepared to talk about building constructive relations as neighbors, as equals. However, this is exactly where the problem lies. Serbia is inherently opposed to the idea that Kosovo is its equal. That is why they create unnecessary drama everywhere they can about anything that makes them view us as their equals. It is persuasive. We see it everywhere. We see it in sports and arts and politics. There is a stubborn refusal to accept us as their peers. But frankly speaking, that is Serbia's problem. What I cannot understand is why we have to meet here so often and entertain their ideas about a parallel universe that they choose to live in. It is on you, members of this important chamber and council, to stop enabling this parody. Always, every single day, Serbia continues to create artificial drama in order to avoid accepting reality. We have gotten rather used to it. It's hard for them to surprise us with their absurdity anymore. However, if they think that they can condition the dialogue with us giving up on our right to exist as a sovereign state, they are in for a fast approaching awakening. We are not going to freeze our existence until Serbia has an epiphany and decides it is time to accept Kosovo as an equal. First, less than 2 months ago, we were summoned here for an extraordinary session to urgently address the most natural and ordinary decision that our institutions undertook when we established our army. The decision to establish the army was legal, constitutional, and prudent obligation to create the requisite security mechanisms that will enable Kosovo to contribute and be part of the regional and Euro-Atlantic security alliances. Furthermore, it is a decision which demonstrates the maturity of Kosovo as a state. It is a paradigm shift of no small proportions for us to transform from consumers to contributors of security. Now, they are conditioning the continuation of the dialogue with the removal of tariffs. Honorable members of the Chamber, the decision of our government to impose tariffs on Serbian goods was not a decision we took lightly. However, the question at hand should be why that decision was made in the first place. The tariffs were a direct response to the aggressive and brutal campaign of the Serbian government against Kosovo. One cannot use one hand to fight our existence with everything they have at their disposal and extend the other one with the pretense of being earnest about normalizing relations with Kosovo. In addition, political arguments aside, the decision was based on economic factors as well. No product that is labeled made in Kosovo can pass the Serbian border. None whatsoever. Why should Kosovo extend Serbia a courtesy that they do not reciprocate? Ladies and gentlemen, the tariffs are not the problem. The tariffs are merely an excuse to refuse to come and sit with us at the table in Brussels. At the end of the day, the real economic effect of the tariffs is minimal on Serbia. Serbia exports weapons all around the world, even to the countries that are under EU and US embargo, and they sell cookies to Kosovo. Only 3% of Serbia's exports are to Kosovo. There is no humanitarian crisis of any kind in Kosovo. Please come and visit Kosovo yourselves, and you will witness reality with your own eyes. The bottom line is, Serbia will use any excuse that they can find to make up more, and they will make up more if there isn't any, only to delay the inevitable, the recognition of Kosovo as a free and independent state. All the excuses and all the delays do not alter the fact that Kosovo is a free nation. Hence, dialogue should not be conditioned with excuses. Because at the end of the day, Kosovo actually has real and painful reasons to condition the process. We have 20,000 reasons for each of the women that were raped by the Serbian military forces. We have 1,370 more for each of the children that were killed in Kosovo by Serbian military forces. We have 1,600 reasons for each and every one of the people who are still missing today. Yet, Kosovo has never conditioned the dialogue process. Because for us, building a prosperous Kosovo at peace with its neighbors is the best way to honor the sacrifices that were made. And though our scars may never fully heal, we will not be hostages of our own pain. We heard even today attempts to rewrite history. We heard no remorse for crimes that were committed from Srebrenica to Račak and Izbica. The wars in former Yugoslavia happened in the eyes of the world. We all know who the victims are, and we all know who the perpetrators are. There is one address, and that is in Belgrade. KLA was not a criminal nor terrorist organization. Those were young women and men who had the courage to stand up and fight Milosevic. And we are proud, very proud of it. Instead of seizing this opportunity for redemption and peace, Serbia chooses obstruction. Even if the government of Kosovo, and remember this, even if the government of Kosovo were to suspend the tariffs today, Serbia will find some other excuse to inhibit the process. What is their excuse for lack of implementation of almost everything we have agreed in Brussels? What is their excuse for lack of implementation of the agreement on energy? What about the agreement for the recognition of diplomas? What is their excuse? None. The truth is, ladies and gentlemen, that until the day that Serbia recognizes Kosovo as its equal, our part of the world will sadly keep producing endless and pointless drama and conflict. The most recent one was the reaction of Belgrade about our legitimate constitutional decision about the Trepča mines. Belgrade's reaction to this decision revealed in the most blatant and brutal form the true neo-colonial attitude that Serbia harbors vis-à-vis Kosovo. Kosovo will not negotiate with Belgrade about Trepča or any other of our resources. They are in Kosovo, they belong to the people of Kosovo. The times when decisions about our resources were made in Belgrade ended long time ago. Serbia needs to want peace. They need to want an agreement. If they truly do, then they need to act on it. Our Serbian citizens in Kosovo are the ones that are suffering the most this situation. And make no mistake, there is only one government that exercises pressure on them. That is the one sitting in Belgrade, not the one sitting in Pristina. Any member of the Kosovo-Serbian community who dares to think differently or independently of the government in Belgrade is subject to systematic intimidation. From hand grenades thrown at their homes, at the homes of the Serbian members of Kosovo security forces, to the detention of Serbian MPs who dare to challenge government in Belgrade, Serbia has left no stone unturned in its attempts to obstruct the integration of the Serbian community in Kosovo. Belgrade does not view them as people who need their support. Belgrade views and uses Serbs in Kosovo as an instrument for their destabilizing foreign policy. And we have seen similar scenarios in Bosnia as well. Just the last session that we gathered here, we all demanded progress in the investigation of the assassination of Oliver Ivanović. The Kosovo police and other law enforcement mechanisms worked hard to bring the perpetrators of this crime to justice. And let me tell you, that's the Rosu attack that my colleague from Serbia was referring to. Arrests were made, but lo and behold the irony. The main suspect is in hiding in Serbia, and Serbia is refusing to hand him over to Kosovar authorities. I will refrain from commenting any further on this matter and allow you to make up your own minds as to what this means. Ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare to commemorate 20th anniversary of the liberation of Kosovo, I cannot help but reflect on the future. Regardless of the roadblocks and despite all the obstacles we face, we remain determined to do all that is in our power to achieve and cherish a stable and a lasting peace. For the sake of our children, our athletes, our artists, our scientists, who are undaunted by the temporary constraints of our current circumstances. They transcend the borders of prejudice, and they scale the walls of politics to raise our flag all around the world. For the sake of our brave women who challenge the status quo to transform social norms and break glass ceilings. For the sake of the fallen who have made the ultimate sacrifice, we continue to strive for a better tomorrow. And even though we still have a long way to go, I am just as hopeful for our young republic today as I was on June 12th, 1999, when Kosovo was liberated from Serbia. Dear members of the Council, it is time for Serbia to liberate itself from Kosovo now, for the sake of peace and stability in the region. We all must show courage and end this conflict. Kosovo is ready. Thank you very much.
Doy las gracias a la